What's up guys, it's Bax, and in today's video, I want to go over how to play in the open as Caustic. This will be part 3 in my series. I don't know how many parts they're going to be. I'm just going to keep making them as I think of them to give you guys tips on how to improve your gameplay on him. But playing out in the open as Caustic is something I've talked about a little bit in my videos in the past, but I want to delve deep into this specifically because it's something that's very difficult to do, and it's not the same as any other character because of his size, which I've spoken about before, and his abilities. He doesn't have a Q like Wraith to just get out of a bad situation, or a Pathfinder, and again, his size just makes it hard in general to move away from bad situations. So when you're playing Caustic out in the open, it's imperative that you use all the cover around you to your advantage. So you have to look around in any part of the map that you might be in, and you have to look and think of anything as cover. What could be cover? And you need to move to it as fast as possible. When you're moving in areas that don't have cover, and they're not just a building, or they don't have rocks or something you can hide behind very easily or bait people into with your traps, you want to use caution, because at any time, if a team opens up on you, you might just get killed because you have no way to get away. So when you find yourself in an area, because maybe the circle's pushing you, or maybe a team is behind you and your team is rotating, when you are in a position like that, you want to make sure you push through the area that is open and has no cover as fast as possible. So when you're in a fight with people, you have to make a decision. Do I want to be in this fight for long? And if I am, do I have a chance of surviving with my team? So when you're caught in a fight out in the open, you have two choices. You either fight to escape, or you fight to end the fight as quickly as possible to loot and get out before another team pushes you. If you fight to escape, that's mainly just suppressing the enemy so that they don't push you while you look for a place to run to with your team. Normally this needs to be called out, and your team needs to be working together. So a lot of this would be more for ranked play as opposed to unranked, where a lot of times you might just be in with randoms. So you're going to make this call, we're going to move over here, and everyone needs to move in that direction fighting as a unit, because as the Caustic, you do not want to be the only guy out in the open. If you have teammates with you, it opens options for the enemy team to shoot at other people and not just you. If you're the only person in the open in front of more than one person, chances are you're just going to die immediately. So you want to push through these areas with no cover as fast as possible. You don't want to be in them for long. Third parties in general are bad, and it's very, very difficult to survive through, and you have to play really well as a team and have good equipment and be able to outplay the enemy team. But as a Caustic, third parties in the open are normally a death sentence. So you want to make sure you have good discipline with yourself and with your team to look at an area and go, this is not a place I need to be in for long, or maybe it's not even a place I need to go through at all. If you can avoid open areas, avoid them if you can. Sometimes it's unavoidable, especially with the circle closing more and more towards the end of the game. But you have to make the decision to move somewhere with your team, and you do not really want to fight while you're out in the open. So discipline is extremely important, really in general for ranked, but when you're playing as Caustic especially, you want to make sure you have the discipline to know where to move, when to move, and that your team goes along with you. However, sometimes you are caught in the open and you have to fight. So when that happens, use the cocoon method often. We have it now. Use it. It's amazing. It can make you essentially invincible and give you so much time, especially if third parties come in. You can just sit in your trap and the third parties can fight it out while you heal and just wait for it out, or wait for your opportunity to fight and shoot them from the side instead of them shooting you from the side. So always use the cocoon method and try to use it around your team. You want your team to be with you for one, but if your team is with you on top of you, be careful about using the cocoon method, because if you're in a really small area, you might gas your own team, and that's bad for everybody. It's not going to help anyone. So when you're using your traps and your ultimate for the cocoon method, make sure it's not going to screw your team over. And again, this comes with communication. A lot of Caustic is communication. You can't really play him with a team that doesn't want to play with the Caustic, or doesn't work well with a Caustic. You have to have people who are willing to play more defensively and not as aggressive, although there is a meta for aggressive play with Caustic, even in Predator Ranked, which I'll go over in a later video. Make sure when you do take fights out in the open that you don't fight by yourself. Again, this comes with the team thing. You always want to make sure you have your team with you, because it's just like I said earlier, when you're the only target, you're already easier to shoot. So when you have 3 people shooting at you, it's easier for all 3 of those people to shoot you. You have a very low chance of winning a 1v3 out in the open. So if you're ever backed into a corner, especially if your team's not around, don't be afraid to use your traps and your ult to your advantage to stop them from pushing you, and just move away from the area with no cover. You do not want to get stuck in a fight. I can't make that more clear. You do not want to get stuck in a fight in the open as Caustic. You always want to move towards cover. Speed is your best friend as Caustic. You want to move through areas quickly. You want to kill people quickly. You want to loot them quickly. And you want to just get to the next place as fast as possible. You do not want to be caught in the open. Third parties are a death sentence. You want to move from place to place as fast as possible, especially when there's no cover. So this is where running the meta I mentioned in my first video, which is Wattson, Caustic, and Wraith. So Wraith is the mobility for your Wattson and Caustic, and if you do have to entrench yourselves out in the open, the Wattson's ultimate is great for stopping the nade spam while you throw your traps down and hide in them, and either bait the enemies in or just stop them from pushing you. Buildings are your best friend. I've said that as well before. When you run the meta with Wattson and Caustic, it's almost impossible to push a good Wattson and Caustic combo when they place their traps correctly and work in unison. So always move to buildings. You don't really want to be out in the open. You're at a disadvantage entirely on any legend, but especially as Caustic in the open. You have nothing to help you. You can run a Gibby, and you can run a Wattson, maybe even a Bangalore, but all of the other legends that could run with you, they're normally not the strongest as far as the meta goes, but also they aren't the greatest for longevity out in the open. Sure, Gibby's bubble might save you for a bit, but you still need to get out of that zone. Once his shield goes away, if the people aren't already pushing you, once his dome goes away, you're just standing out in the open, and you're still in the same situation that you're in. So a Wraith is great for portaling out and getting away from the fights. There really isn't much else for Caustic out in the open, if I'm being honest. It's very straightforward in the sense of you just don't want to be out in the open. When you're out in the open, have discipline and move quickly. The less you're in the open with no cover as any character, again, it's better. But as Caustic, especially buildings, you always want to be by buildings. It's just easier to play, and it's also easier to maneuver around and get people to come into your traps and use them to kill people. If you think I missed anything, please let me know in the comments. Again, guys, the support that I've been getting lately has been phenomenal, and I really appreciate everyone coming through the stream, commenting on the videos. Stuff like that has been amazing, and I love engaging with people in the community in the comments. So if you guys have anything that you think I missed, let me know, and I'd love to make a follow-up video. But as far as I can tell right now, there's really only a few things that you can do as Caustic in the open, and it's mainly just not being in the open. That's your main thing. But there are certain things you can do to mitigate your chance of losing while you are out in the open. So moving forward, I have a little bit of some clips, just like in my first video. This is my favorite way to organize the video. I'm gonna show some clips now and kind of go through how I use what I said in my play without really thinking about it, and hopefully you guys can learn something from this and use it to your advantage as well when you're playing Caustic, whether it be in ranked or in unranked. Alright, so here we go with some clips on how to play Caustic in the open that I'll talk about. So first of all, when you're on a zipline, obviously even when you're not Caustic, you want to hop on it so that it's harder to be shot. Again, here, something I still have a problem with is I need to help my teammates a little bit more, but I created my own cover, even though I'm on the side of a building with my trap, struggle a little bit to jump up. And right now I'm more towards a building. You're saying, Bax, how is this out in the open? Right here. I fall down. Now I'm more in the open. There's really no cover around me other than these buildings. So what I'm going to do here is create cover, because I know I'm in a 1v2 now because I knocked one, and I'm able to hide in what used to just be a big open area. It's now a cloud that I can sit in, and I can loot, and I'm just sitting behind my trap, and I have full cover now. So I'm able to exploit this ultimate to get a second knock, and now I know I'm in a 1v1. So I throw this trap, and the third shoots it and destroys it. But even in that time of me throwing it, if they had pushed me, I would have been able to get this bat off. And while I'm looking for this last team, I go back into cover. So again, even though I had no cover, I went into cover, because you always want to move to cover no matter what. So you see I'm moving back again. Always move to cover. Even when you have none, look for it. So here, again, kind of in the open, but just pockets of cover. These trucks, these fences, but a lot of this is big and open, so I start getting shot in the back. I immediately jump and run into cover. So now I'm in cover. And I'm able to look around. We're able to get the squad wipe. This is more of an open area, but there are a lot of places you can maneuver to get more cover. So here's Kings Canyon, a little bit of ranked. This is a more open area in the map, and this is an area where I'm going to be careful, because people, look at this, people are just nade spamming me, and there's really nowhere I can hide unless I ran down into the bunker, which is a great place to go as Caustic. Here's a little bit of cocoon method in the open. This Wraith dove me. She thought she was going to get an easy kill, and I was able to get a knock from that, and my team was with me. You can see my Pathfinder Texi. He was with me the entire time. This is a clip of me being aggressive in the open. So I said you always want to make sure you're thinking and having discipline. So I used the ultimate to push them out of the only cover they had, and I pushed. So even though I know there's a guy up here, I'm using the only cover I have. Right now I'm using a little bit of movement, but this little tree, that's all I have. But by God, I'm using that cover. I am making sure that I'm taking that little bit of cover I have and I'm using it to my advantage. That would be good on any legend. But again, especially as Caustic, you want to make sure you're just fighting there. I didn't need to throw a trap. A lot of Caustics would have thrown a trap up on that hill fighting that Pathfinder. You don't need to. So here again, fighting in a building, creating my own cover, and I'm able to get the kill on this lifeline. A lot of it is just maneuvering, guys, and making sure you're using your traps to your advantage. Here is an ending that is almost entirely in the open, but you can see as I'm running even, I'm hugging this wall. I'm moving closer and closer to this wall until I get up to whatever this big silo reactor thing is, and I'm using it as cover. So I know I can zone people out with my ultimate, but I said, you know what, I'm going to hold off. I'm only going to get one more ultimate before the end of this game, so I want to make sure it is very useful. So I'm able to completely throw an ultimate on this guy. There's smoke everywhere. They can't do anything. I knock the gimme. But now I've created my own cover, and I'm using what little cover there is in this ending zone to my advantage. I'm not pushing it. So even though we are in a 2v3, I'm able to get that knock with my ultimate, and I just keep standing behind cover. I'm constantly moving around cover to cover, hugging cover. I'm not running out in the open. And I'm just maneuvering to make sure I'm not just running out, looking for people, looking for a fight. I don't want to take a fight. Look at this. The moment I take a fight with somebody, he's beaming me. Every single time I'm taking massive damage. I'm always right next to something to move right out into the open. But there's not a lot. But even as I push up, I look for where's cover that I can get to. So now we're in the 1v1. I commit to this fight. Even though I'm not hugging the cover, I commit to the kill. Because I know it's now 1v1 and I have a Mastiff. A lot of it is dynamic, guys. You're going to want to move in and out of your cover. You want to create your own cover sometimes. But most of the time, when you're in an area with no cover, you need to constantly be looking forward to it. Alright, guys. I think that about covers it. Someone count how many times I said the word cover in this video. But I hope it really hit home the message that cover and Caustic are basically, the same thing. You want to make sure that you're constantly using it. But I hope everyone was able to learn something from this. If not, let me know in the comments. If you did, let me know in the comments. And if you guys have other ideas for something you'd want to see in a future video in this series, let me know. I'm not just going to go over Caustic content in the future. I am going to branch out a little bit and make some more general guides for Apex Legends. But if there's something specific to Caustic you want to know, or something just specific in general to the game, leave it in the comment. I love making these types of videos, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. The community seems to really enjoy it, and seeing people come into chat and talk about these videos with me and discuss things has been a lot of fun. People have given me some really good insight and some ideas on Caustic buffs that I never even thought about. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.